Podcasting from beautiful Leesburg, Virginia. Welcome to the Music Educator podcast, bringing you tips, tricks, and practical advice that you can use tomorrow. Here's your host and fellow music educator, Bill Stevens.
Good morning, good day, and good night. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Music Educator podcast. This is Bill Stevens, your host for today, and we are in Season 2, Episode 9, and today's topic is Saxophone Reed Selection Considerations. Hold on tight, get ready for some helpful bits of information, and I hope this can help your instructional teaching tomorrow. Here we go. I love the saxophone family. They are so much fun. There's so many of them. You can get all kinds of sounds. As a result, each of these instruments have various kinds of reeds that suit their different performance needs and practice scenarios. Saxophones perform in orchestras on a limited basis, but saxophones also perform in concert groups, jazz, polka, jazz combo, ska, punk, and rock and roll bands. As you can tell, saxophones perform in a variety of awesome groups. There are saxophone reeds to help players obtain the subtle sounds and demands that they have for each specific scenario. And reeds come in different lengths, sizes, thicknesses, and strengths. And it's important to understand that the reed itself does not give you the sound you want. It comes from you, the performer. The saxophone reed only assists in the sound manipulation. What saxophone reed should I start on? I know there's a variety of opinions on this topic, but I'm going to give you a little insight. Most beginning saxophonists start their musical career on using Rico or Rico Royale saxophone reeds in strengths 2.5. A 2.5 strength reed is an ideal starting reed for students, and Rico Royales tend to be cheaper reeds, and you will go through many reeds in these early years of playing. Many experienced players continue to play on 2.5 reeds, and it's important to understand that a higher strength saxophone reed does not mean the player is better or is more experienced. Saxophonists that would like to move up to a more advanced reed could try the Rico Reserve or the Van Doren, which usually comes in a blue box. Musicians that choose Van Doren saxophone reeds will note that this brand of reed comes in various colored boxes. The recommended blue box of Van Doren reeds is an all-around purpose reed for saxophonists. I highly encourage all of my saxophonists and clarinetists to purchase the blue box Van Doren reeds with the intent of creating a consistent quality of sound. These particular reeds tend to cost a little more than the Rico Royales, but not by much. A consideration when deciding on what type of saxophone reed you want to use is whether you want a more classical sound that has a darker texture or one that has more of a raw and is free-flowing jazz sound. And there are two types of reed cuts that determine if you get a more classical sound or a more raw jazz sound. The first one, the raw American sound, is called the American cut. This is a free-flowing jazz reed cut. The second is the French cut, and this is darker. It has a clear classical reed cut. And the blue box Van Doren and the Rico Royale saxophone reeds are both French cut reeds. These are great for concert band, orchestral rehearsals, and performances. American cut. Some saxophone reeds can be played using both the French and American styled reed. Therefore, both the Rico Jazz Select and the red box Van Doren Jazz Java filed cut can play both French or American, so consider that. The green American unfiled Jazz Java cut is developed specifically for playing jazz. Reed personal preference. Now there's a multitude of reed choices out there, and what it ultimately leads to is personal preference. To clarify, the only way to be sure if you like or dislike the way a reed sounds or plays is to purchase some and make a decision. Since everyone has a slightly different mouth shape, they blow differently and have various back pressure tolerances. One person may play great using a particular reed and mouthpiece combo, whereas someone else would sound not nearly as good. In order not to spend a ton of money on trying out different reeds, Van Doren offers an inexpensive sample pack. In Van Doren's sample pack, it offers a V16, red Java, green Java, and a ZZ. These are all different types of reeds. This allows you to try out a variety of saxophone reeds without having to commit to purchasing 4 separate boxes of reeds, which, as you may well know, gets really expensive really fast. An alternative saxophone reed. An alternative to a wood reed is a synthetic plastic reed. In the past, many of these reeds did not always provide the best quality of sound. However, technology has improved to make a better plastic reed that will last forever and are great for marching bands where temperature dries out the reed. I currently have one of the Leisure 2.5 plastic reeds for my alto and tenor saxes, which I use to model music for my middle school band students. I never have to worry about the reed breaking when someone bumps into it, which tends to happen in middle school or when it's on the stand. And despite the fact that the Leisure plastic reed is more expensive than other traditional wood reeds, it pays for itself since I never have to buy another one. Conclusion. In conclusion, reeds are always a necessity for saxophone, and the one you choose can certainly alter your performing experience. What is the best reed for you? This is certainly a personal preference. However, it would be helpful to consider what you are performing for and base your reed purchases based on the cut that gives you the best sound possible.
Thank you for listening to the Music Educator podcast for the latest tips, tricks, and practical advice you can use tomorrow. You can subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. Please visit the Music Educator blog at www.forthemusiceducator.com for additional posts and music education news. As always, join in the discussion and let your voice be heard by providing feedback at www.forthemusiceducator@gmail.com or leave a Google voicemail at 703-942-9883. We will see you on the next episode of the Music Educator podcast, and remember, music can change the world.